Good evening, everyone. We are ready to begin. This Planning Commission is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded and can be viewed live on City of Las Vegas TV on Cox Cable Channel 2. You can also watch the meeting live online and access other city content by visiting lasvegasnevada.gov/connect. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on City of Las Vegas TV the Saturday after the meeting at 10 a.m., Monday at midnight, and the following Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chair Taylor.
Present.
Vice Chair Kasama.
Present.
Commissioner Schlottman.
Present.
Commissioner Rogan.
Present.
Commissioner DeSalvio.
Present.
Commissioner Munford.
Present.
Commissioner LeBeau.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. I call to your attention the information printed in your agenda concerning our actions and the appeal and review process if appropriate. Please read this carefully, and if you have any questions, staff is available. Also, the second page of the agenda contains our rules of conduct. We appreciate your adhering to these rules so we can have a smooth meeting. Thank you. We'll go to item 4, public comment. For this portion of the agenda, public comment must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium. Give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. All comments made under this item for specific action items will be cross-referenced to those items. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to item 5 for possible action to approve the final minutes for the Planning Commission meeting of November 18th, 2025. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of November 18th, 2025?
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes for the November 18th Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that motion carries. Move on to number 6, our housekeeping items. Are there any items that commissioners, staff, applicants, or members of the public would like to pull forward for action?
Madam Chair, Nicole Eddowes for the record. The applicant is requesting to hold item number 13 to the February 10th Planning Commission meeting. The applicant is requesting to hold item number 14 to the January 13th Planning Commission meeting. This is the applicant's 4th request for an abeyance. The applicant is requesting to hold item number 15 to the January 13th Planning Commission meeting, and the applicant is requesting to withdraw without prejudice item number 22. And finally, staff is requesting to strike condition of approval number 5 from special use permit 25-0457-SUP1. Thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Eddowes, what number is that?
Item 9.
Item 9. Okay, thank you. All right, does anyone wish to speak on any of these items? Okay, seeing none. Vice Chair Kasama, can you please make a motion on these housekeeping items?
Thank you, Chair. I make a motion to strike condition of approval number 5 for agenda item 9. I make a motion to hold an abeyance to the February 10th Planning Commission meeting for agenda item 13, to hold an abeyance to the January 13th Planning Commission meeting for agenda item 14, and then to hold an abeyance to the January 13th Planning Commission meeting for agenda item 15, and then to withdraw without prejudice item 22.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post, and that motion carries. Okay, consent items. These are considered routine by the Planning Commission and may be enacted by one motion. However, any item may be discussed if a commission member or applicant so desires. Vice Chair, would you like to make a motion on our consent items?
Chair, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. And Chair, Commissioner Sama. Perfect. Please post. And that motion carries.
And item number 7 is final action unless appealed to the clerk in 7 days. And item 8 is final action unless appealed to the clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. Let's move on to our one motion, one vote items. These following items may be considered in one motion, one vote. They are considered routine, non-public, and public hearing items with a staff recommendation of approval. All public hearings and non-public hearings will be opened at one time. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or a member of the Planning Commission not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this part of the agenda. So first, number 9, 25-0457 SUP1, applicant owner Nevada Good Luck Investments LLC for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 5,083 square foot alcohol on-premise full use at 1309 South Commerce Street, Ward 3, Diaz. Item number 10, 25-0497. And for item number 9, just again to note that the condition of approval number 5 has been stricken from that. Item number 10, 25-0497, applicant owner Massandra 6701 Delray Apartments LLC for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests at 6701 Delray Avenue and 1750 Santa Margarita Street, Ward 1, Knutson. 10A, 25-0497 VAR1 to allow an existing multifamily residential development that does not conform to approved plot plans Z0048-80 and Z0078-88 for setbacks APN 16302202010, RPD 18 residential plan development 18 units per acre zone. 10B 25-0497 VAR2 to allow an existing multifamily residential development that does not conform to approved plot plan Z006291 for setbacks APN 16302202011 RPD 19 residential plan development 19 units per acre zone. Number 11, 25-0501, applicant owner Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education for possible action on the following land use entitlement project request at the northeast corner of Charleston and Shadow Lane, Ward 1, Knutson. 11A, 25-0501 VAC1, petition to vacate a portion of right-of-way Wellness Way. And 11B, 25-0501 TMP for a proposed one-lot commercial subdivision. And then finally, number 12, 25-0515 SUP1, applicant Aaron Negash, owner Shri Ganesha Inc., for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 3,466 square foot alcohol on-premise full use at 700 Fremont Street, Suite A, Ward 3, Diaz. These items have been noticed for public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on these items? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, before we call for a motion, on item number 9, I'm going to abstain as I'm currently under contract with the applicant on that particular property. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Commissioner Schlottman. Can we have a motion, please?
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the items on the one motion, one vote agenda. That is item 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post, and that motion carries.
And Madam Chair, items 9 and 12 are final action tonight unless appealed to City Clerk, and items 10 and 11 will move on to City Council on January 21st, 26.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to our public hearing items, and we are going to go a little bit out of order tonight. We're going to start with item number 20, 25-0442 SDR1, applicant owner City of Las Vegas for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for the conversion of an existing two-story motel development for a proposed convalescent care facility and parking lot reconfiguration with waivers of Title 19.09 form-based code development standards at 2033 Fremont Street, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends approval. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, Jonathan Boyles for the record. The proposed development represents an opportunity for adaptive reuse by utilizing a vacant and underutilized motel for supportive facilities, which is an explicitly defined goal within the vision master plan for downtown. The requested waiver and exceptions are minor in nature. Staff finds the proposed development will be compatible and harmonious with development in the surrounding area and recommends approval of the site development plan review subject to conditions. Please note additional documents for support were received after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about this project.
Good evening, Chair Taylor. My name is Gina Venglas. It is spelled G-I-N-A, and my last name is V-E-N-G-L-A-S-S, and I am the city engineer for the City of Las Vegas Public Works Department. Here tonight to request approval for our item for 2033 Fremont Street Transitional Housing Project. As they mentioned, this project is for transitional housing on a 0.66 acre parcel located on the north side of Fremont between Bruce and Charleston, in one of the older unused motels. At the end of the day, the city will be providing 28 transitional housing units for the unhoused population that are transitioning back to stability. The project will also be composed of a new parking lot, secured fencing, trash enclosures, and the other amenities necessary to make the project possible. The sponsoring department is Neighborhood Services, and tonight I have Patrick Petrie with me tonight. But we respectfully request approval for this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay. Oh, are you coming down, ma'am? Yeah, folks, feel free if you hear your item come up and you want to speak, come on down so we can get you up to the microphone.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Laura McSwain, MCSWAIN. I am a resident of McNeil, which is in close proximity to this project, and I'm also the founder and president of the Water Fairness Coalition. I am here primarily to object to any kind of reduction in landscaping. I think that we've got a lot of anecdotal evidence within our community relative to all the hot elements that we're allowing, that we're complicit in helping provide. Southern Nevada Water Authority is introducing artificial landscaping, artificial turf to our children's playgrounds. And while this project is, it's also not following the form-based code as I understand it. And I apologize, I didn't get to hear the whole application, but if I'm off base, please shut me down now. I did bring an article about landscaping and urban planning for the record, and also some general information about Lake Mead's condition. What I hope for is that we don't panic and allow for density where it may not really be responsibly provided if we're having to give up too many things. If I remember correctly, this item has 7 waivers, and having served on this board many years ago, landscaping was really kind of a beautification issue. Now it's really kind of becoming an imperative relative to quality of life. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and close public hearing. If you'd like to come back up to the microphone. And was there any response or anything else you wanted to add?
So the waivers that we were asking for are generally minor in nature. We are providing landscape on the property. As you know, this is an existing motel. There is a 2-story building on site and a 1-story building on site. Those will remain and be remodeled and rehabilitated. So the parcel is 0.66 acres, very tight spot, hard to provide much more landscaping than we're currently showing providing. And I do have the landscape plan here if they can want to show it on the screen, or if planning can. There we go. Perfect. So we're showing several new trees and bushes and shrubs with decomposed granite.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much. That, we'll go ahead and pass it back to the commission. Is there anyone that has comments? Commissioner DeSalvio?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. Convalescent care facility is what it's listed under, but you keep saying traditional housing. Convalescent care is usually recovering from an illness or an operation. So can you explain why you're calling it traditional housing? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to actually ask Nicole, maybe she can help on that one. The name of our project is called Transitional, but planning had to advertise it under convalescent, and I'm not quite clear why.
Yes, so this will be kind of the step in between, being in a shelter and fully being on your own. So in that capacity, some of these clients, are probably, some of them will need additional support services. There may be some, medical issues that haven't been addressed in a while. So we in looking at the code, and this is in the form-based code area, we determined that the convalescent care would be the best fit for what they're going to be, for the services they're going to be providing in the facility.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, Commissioner Schlottman?
Yes, Chairwoman, through you. So full disclosure, I live in the area directly across the street, and I'm within the notification area, but it won't affect me any greater or lesser than anyone else, so I will be voting on this matter tonight. When we first had the county housing that come in across the street from the Fremont Street Lofts, there was a lot of concern from the residents and people from the neighborhood about what's going to happen, why'd the city allow this to happen in our neighborhood, and this isn't, really supporting the goals of the district and pushing the neighborhood along. But, after living next to it for the past year and a half, 2 years, it's actually kind of cleaned it up quite a bit, which I'm shocked to say that, because what we had was, drug dealing, pimps, prostitution, everything you could possibly imagine going down in these hourly hotels right across the street. And it's just a nuisance. And we would see police and the police helicopters and people running through there, every night, 2 and 3 times a night. Cops would end up having to show up. I have to say, within the past 2 years, I hadn't seen any of that. And, this is one other hotel that, I'm not going to say we've had as big of issues out of, but, we've had issues out of every one of these around there. So hoping that if the city is actually operating this one and operates it as good as the county, that it'll help clean that hotel up as well, or motel up. So I don't have as big a concerns with this. It looks like we are. I know that there is an exception for those 3 trees. It looks like we're still planting quite a few trees on this property. And anyway, so I'm going to welcome this to the neighborhood and hope that y'all operate this, and you'll be hearing from me if we need to make some adjustments to it.
Thank you. Are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes. Madam Chair, through you, on item number
20.
25-0442 SDR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions.
Thank you. And you agree to all conditions?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that does carry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that is final action tonight, must appeal to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's go back to item 16, abeyance 25-0363 SDR1, applicant owner Iona LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for proposed parking facility with waivers of Appendix F interim downtown Las Vegas Development Standards Area 1 on the east side of 4th Street, approximately 150 feet north of Gas Avenue, Ward 3 DS. Staff recommends approval. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, this is Mackenzie Caldwell for the record. Please note revised plans were received today, December 9th, showing a 5-foot wrought iron fence along the front and rear of the property. The driveway along 4th Street will not be gated. This eliminates the need for a waiver of the maximum fence height along the front property line, as an 8-foot fence has previously been requested. The waiver condition has been eliminated in the staff report located in your supplemental packet. Staff finds the proposed parking facility to be appropriate infill development within the civic and business district. The requested waivers are minor and will not detract from the existing pattern of development in this area. Staff therefore recommends approval subject to conditions. Please note there is an additional letter of protest submitted after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Hi, y'all. Hope you're doing good. My name's Angelo Venzon, Angelo Venzon. I'm with Kimley Horn. Address is 6671 Las Vegas Boulevard, 89119. How do I turn is the camera already on? Sorry. Perfect. Thank you. So as you can see, so this one, it doesn't deviate too far from what we've seen from a month ago. So this still has the 14 stalls, 7 chargers, 14 charging parking spaces. The main conversation that we've had with Commissioner Schlotman and our neighboring lawyers to the south is the area around here, around the amenities building, and the back part around here. The main concern was in regards to the unhoused, and so to mediate that concern, we've added the 5-foot wrought iron fence to match the facade of both the south and north neighbors, and we've also added gates around the amenities building. Kind of hard to see, but it's located here on the frontage along 4th Street right here, all the way up to the street-facing facade of the amenities building, and then we've also gated off this area right here with an access code accessible through the application on the phones. So that helps mediate the unhoused from pulling up or camping around in this area. And per our client, this facility is also monitored 24/7 from a remote surveillance building.
Okay, thank you. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission. Does anybody have any comments or questions on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair, through you. We held this in abeyance last month because Mr. Greg Cope, the attorney next door, had some questions, and there was quite a bit of confusion about the fence and where it was located, and that's been resolved. There wasn't a fence at the back, but the elevations were showing a fence at the back. They have agreed to that fence at the back, and they have agreed to the other fence going around the container, which was great because that would definitely be a place for people to hide out. Also, there was a request at the last meeting. The 8-foot fence kept being thrown out there. There's no 8-foot tall fence any longer. It's a 5-foot fence. It'll meet city code. And so I did speak to the neighbor earlier today, and he was 100% support of the project with the way that it's now being designed. So there's no other comments. I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, just checking again. No other comments? Anybody? All right, please make your motion, Commissioner.
And Chair, on item number 16, abeyance 25-0363 SDR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions, and you agreed all conditions if approved?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that motion carries.
And that is final action
Thank you.
tonight, unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 17, abeyance, 25-0390 SDR1, applicant Kevon Khorshid, owner Dental Training Center and Digital Lab, Inc., for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 6-story, 70-unit mixed-use development with 2,177 square feet of commercial area, with waivers of Appendix F interim downtown Las Vegas development standards, Area 2, at southeast corner of Gas and 7th Street, Ward 3 Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, as demonstrated by the numerous requested waivers pertaining to required on-site parking spaces, landscape buffers, lot coverage, and building setbacks that do not conform to Title 19 development standards, staff has determined that the proposed development has been overbuilt. Also, the proposed 6-story, 88-foot-tall development is out of scale with the surrounding area in the Founders District, which predominantly consists of 2- and 3-story developments. Therefore, staff recommends denial of the requested site development plan review. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. If you could please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about this project.
Good evening, Sheldon Colin, Colen, 2140 East Pella Road. The project, as staff described, it's a first-story retail project with 5 stories above it for apartments, and it'll have parking on the first floor and then going down into a basement. We have redesigned the project based on meetings with Commissioner Schlottman, and the staff was presented with a redesign for 56 units. That is what will be on there, and it still has the same amount of parking at 42. When we also discussed this project with you, Commissioner, we have since revised the site plan, and I can provide this to staff if needed. We have added trees on 7th Street. There's 4 new trees that we've shown on this. And on Gas, we recessed the building almost 5 feet on the first level. It'll still extend out on the 2nd floor and up, which will then create a shade method along this area right here. And in addition to that, we've included another tree and landscaping on the corner to help with the continuation of shade and the requirements that the city has adopted. And also there is a rendering showing what the concept is for the building. It doesn't have the latest things that we discussed today, but we're in agreement on those items. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will turn it back over to the commission. Commissioner Schlottman, I'll take you last, but is there anybody else? Okay, I just want to say thank you so much for, at the last minute, taking my suggestions and input and feedback. I think this is a really beautiful building. It's a great project. I think it's going to be a good sort of foundation for future development. And again, I just really appreciate being able to have the conversation with you about the city's goals on urban heat island, planting trees that we just talked about and passed last month, walkability. And so I just really, again, want to just say thank you so much for making those changes. Really appreciate the collaboration. And I will pass it to Commissioner Schlottman.
Chairwoman, could we pass it to Nicole for just 1 second?
Sure, absolutely. Ms. Eddowes.
Madam Chair, for the record, Mr. Colin, do you have a copy of those that you have presented tonight that we can give to the clerk to make them part of the record? Okay. With the new site plan and landscape plan, I would then need to revise condition of approval number 2 to read, all development shall be in conformance with the site plan and landscape plan, date stamped 12/9/25, and building elevations, date stamped 11/4/25, except as amended by conditions herein. And this, Madam Chair, will get this new landscape plan and site plan officially on the record and as part of the development that you're approving or reviewing tonight.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Eddowes. And then the one question we didn't talk about real quickly, and I couldn't see it because the print was small, what size trees were you putting in? 24-inch box?
It's on there, but they're, I think, 36 or 24-inch box.
Okay.
It's on there.
But it's on there, perfect.
There's a landscape plan in there too with all that called out.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay, thank you again, Commissioner Schlottman.
All right, Madam Chair, through you. Sheldon, thank you for meeting with me a couple months ago and holding this in abeyance. I completely understand staff's recommendation for denial based on where they see the Founders District going. You know, I do have a little bit of a different perspective, just, you know, understanding the 3 to 5 year supply of land that we have here in the city of Las Vegas, as was presented to City Council just a couple of months ago, and the need for more housing and density. And when I look at the Founders District, I look at it a little bit different. I look at Craig P. Kinney and his 3 or 4 story. I look at the Academy and the new 3-story parking garage, the big auditorium that the Academy is about to build, the huge law office with the big rotunda over the top of it, just to the west side of the Academy. I look back at the apartments, the 8 or 10-story apartments that were built off of, that were proposed off of maybe 10th Street in Charleston, that I wasn't really in support of, but it went to council and did get support. And, you know, there's another apartment complex approved in this neighborhood, you know, within the past few years that did have some density. And the reason why we're seeing exceptions and waivers and so much on this particular property is because it is being built out to the property line. And in most areas in the Arts District or in other parts of Fremont, and we would be encouraging you to do that, but we're not necessarily encouraging you to do that in this neighborhood. But I have a vision, and I feel that that's where that neighborhood's going to go. It's not going to stick to single-story and 2-story houses. I feel that there's a higher and better use, and this is probably what we're going to see more of. So for those reasons, I appreciate you bringing it down. I didn't want to put the burden of having 70 units with only 40 parking spaces in this area. If it was in the Arts District, it would be a little bit different because there's a ton of surface parking lots, there's a city parking garage, there's other reasons. But when we're in this area, it's a newer area that you know, we kind of do enjoy a little bit more parking on the streets, and I just don't want to burden all the neighbors with one project coming in and taking up all the off-site parking. So I appreciate you and your the owners of the project acknowledging that and making that adjustment. You have a little bit higher parking standard at 0.75 spaces per unit. That's a lot higher than what we have applied to some of these other apartment complexes down in the Arts District, and for those reasons, I appreciate you doing that. So if there's no other comments, I'm ready to make a motion.
Please do.
And you did hear the condition that Ms. Eddowes read into the record about adding the trees and the date stamped plan and all of that?
Yeah, we agree to that. Yeah.
Okay. And you agree to all other conditions of approval?
Yes, we do.
Okay. On item number 17, abeyance 25-0390 SDR1, move to approve subject to staff's conditions based on the testimony heard tonight.
Thank you. There is a motion on.
And, excuse me, to clarify, that's amended conditions?
And along with the added condition.
Okay, thanks. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
And that will move on to City Council on January 21st.
Item 18, 25-0303, applicant owner KCRH3 LLC for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests at the northeast corner of Kyle Canyon Road and Schaumburg Road, Ward 6, Bruni. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. 18A, 25-0303 VAR1 to allow 83 parking spaces where 133 spaces are required and 1 loading space where 2 are required. 18B, 25-0303 VAR2 to allow a 54-foot residential adjacency setback where 96 feet is required. 18C, 25-0303 SUP1 for a major amendment of an approved special use permit. 22-0172 SUP1 for proposed 200 square foot expansion and a 900 square foot outdoor patio area to an approved 3,800 square foot alcohol on-premise full use, 18D 25-0303 SUP2 for proposed 2,500 square foot alcohol on-premise full use, and 18E 25-0303 SDR1 for a major amendment of an approved site development plan review, 22-0172 SDR1 for a proposed one-story 10,349 square foot commercial development with a 900 square foot outdoor patio area and parking lot reconfiguration with waivers of building orientation, building facade, and perimeter landscape buffer requirements. May we have the staff report, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Christian Gates, Community Development for the record. Staff finds the proposed development is not consistent with the vision of commercial development in this area as described in the Kyle Canyon Special Area Plan. Requested waivers, exceptions, and variances of Title 19 requirements further demonstrate the proposed development's incompatibility with future development in the surrounding area. Therefore, staff recommends denial of all requested entitlements subject to conditions if approved. Please note, the parcel number on the agenda is incorrect, and the correct parcel number is APN 126-01-301-013. And please also note that additional letters of support and protest were submitted after publication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, Planning Commissioners. My name is Tony Celeste, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. Also with me in the audience is Adam Corrigan, who is the applicant and property owner. First, if I can just direct your attention to the overhead. You can see our site here is highlighted in yellow on the northeast corner of Kyle Canyon and Schaumburg. Before I get into this application, I think it's important for me to just give you a quick background on the current entitlements of this project and how we've gotten to where we are today, submit for the request for these entitlements. Back in November of 2022, this site plan was approved. It was approved allowing for a 3,800 square foot tavern located here on the corner of the site, or excuse me, internal of the site, and then on the corner, a drive-through restaurant that was about 2,300 square feet. Total square footage was about 6,100 square feet. And again, this was approved 3 years ago in November of 2022. Shortly after these entitlements, Mr. Corrigan did buy this site. He was not the property owner at the time who did entitle this site. Last year, we did come in for our first extension of time. Reason being is when this was first entitled, it was still a lot of development plans that were going through and being approved for the surrounding residential, including what is now approved around us, which is Tri-Point Homes. Also, the extension was necessary just to allow additional infrastructure and improvements to get closer to the site. This past year, we have been working more on his development plans and what for more his type of uses. And in conjunction with that, we have worked extensively with Ward 6, in particular, Councilwoman Bruni, Planning Committee, or Chairwoman Taylor, to go over this site, to go over their vision and make sure we provide uses that are compatible with the vision out there. I'm proud to stand up here today thinking that we have been able to do that and now presenting you our revised plan. As you can see right here from our site plan, we are proposing one building instead of two. The total square footage is about 10,300 square feet, so it is about 4,000 square feet total more than what was previously approved, however, located in one building. Our tavern will be located on the west end cap here, slight increase from the 3,800 to about 4,000 square feet. What we are proposing here as the main anchor tenant is Rustic House. It is a non-smoking restaurant with restricted gaming and on-premise consumption of alcohol. This will be his fourth location. Other two are in Boca Park in the city, one in the city of Henderson on Eastern and Serene, and one in Clark County on Sunset and Grand Canyon. So this is a great family use, non-smoking, family-oriented, with the restricted gaming and non-smoking. So that was one of the things that we discussed with Ward 6 about the type of restaurants they'd like to see, and this was the one that was identified, and we're proud to bring it here. You can see in the middle we have about another 3,000 square feet. That'll be retail. Not quite identified yet, but a lot of ideas about potential bicycle shop, Pilates studios, type of neighborhood commercial use. And then finally, we have a secondary restaurant, which would also have liquor on-premise consumption, but no gaming. This one would be more geared toward breakfast, lunch, thereby offsetting the peak hours of what the tavern would be. This is the site plan we are proposing. Along with that, there are a couple of, as noted, variances associated with this. In particular, it is having to do with the design of Schaumburg, or what will be Sheep Mountain Parkway. This site originally started with a little over 2 acres that was going to be developable. It has shrunk to about 1.8 acres. We have worked extensively with Public Works and planning on the design of Schaumburg. This has been a little bit of a moving target, not just for us, but for the city as well, and we greatly appreciate them working with us on what this final design will look like. Just by way of example, you can see right here, or here's the elevations of the building, obviously be first class building. You can see right here is the Schaumburg alignment, or Sheep Mountain Parkway, which will extend up to Moccasin. You can see highlighted in blue now is residential that is going in. That is Tri-Point. We are highlighted here, or we are the unhighlighted portion on the corner. This is what the street section of Sheep Mountain Parkway is going to look like. Basically, it's going to require 60 feet of dedication on our side, plus the required 20 feet of landscaping. So that essentially eats about 80 feet of usable area for us to develop. And that's what has triggered some of the landscaping waiver and the parking. With respect to the landscaping, it occurs right here on Sheep Mountain Parkway. We are supposed to provide a 20-foot common element. Within that 20 feet would be 5 feet of landscaping, a 5-foot detached sidewalk, and then an additional 10 feet of landscaping behind that sidewalk. We are providing the 5 feet of landscaping, 5 feet of sidewalk, but only 7 feet of landscaping behind the sidewalk. Reason being is we do already have a parking reduction required, and if we were to even provide 3 additional more feet, it would eat even further into that parking reduction. We feel that the parking we have right here will actually work and works well with his concept, a well-established operator, along with the different type of hours of operation and retail use, that this will be sufficiently parked at the 83 spaces. We are going to offer to add an additional 36-inch box tree in this location right here in the landscape strip, 5-foot landscape strip. And also, we are going to add some additional landscape planters there at portions where we can make sure that it's ADA compliant. But we definitely want to provide a little bit of landscaping here to soften the appearance from Kyle Canyon Road. One of the other things I want to note is that we have also worked with our neighbor Tri-Point to the north here. This is their, it might be, I don't know if we can zoom in, but this is their street section alignment along Sheep Mountain Parkway. I'll read it to you because it is a little bit small, but basically we are matching theirs, in fact, providing a little bit more landscaping than theirs. They are providing a 5-foot wide landscape strip, 5-foot sidewalk detached, and then additional 5 feet behind the behind the sidewalk there. The goal when we were having these meetings over the summer with Public Works in particular and planning was to try to provide a uniform streetscape frontage along Sheep Mountain Parkway. We feel that this plan now does match and uniform to that. There'll be a little bit of tapering down here, up here in the north, to match what the approved plans are for Tri-Point there. So we appreciate staff's review and several meetings. We appreciate meeting with Tri-Point, our neighbor. Greatly appreciate the guidance and working with Ward 6. They have given us a lot of vision and direction, and hopefully because of some of the hardships here, a little bit of flexibility and consideration for the parking. Just as a side note, I did a little research as far as other parking waivers recently granted by the city. One very similar earlier this year in March on Smoke Ranch and Rainbow, I believe. There was a 10,000 square foot about 10,500 square foot retail center that was approved, actually in addition. There was originally about 7,000 square feet and then a 3,500 square foot addition. That addition obviously triggered additional parking waiver, and very similar to ours, the parking was reduced from 138 spaces to 79. We're asking to go from 133 to 83, so about the same ratio, 40% on a similarly sized shopping center, both 10,400 square feet. While this is now obviously much more developed out, what we know is coming, that Sheep Mountain Parkway and Kyle Canyon Road will be looking very similar to this, commercial with residential around it. So we think that's a good guiding point, previous precedent that the city has reviewed this, at least at the Planning Commission, City Council level, and we're supportive of those parking reductions. We are agreeable to all the conditions of approval, and like I said, we do want to add that one additional tree, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Celeste. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Please come on down. State your name and spell it for the record and give us your address.
Hi, Tom McCrae, T-O-M-M-A-C-R-A-E. My address is 10475 Drasky Street. I'm northwest of this location up in the rural estates. First of all, I want to thank everybody for what you've done at Kyle Canyon and Sheep Mountain. Everything up there turned out beautiful. The parking reduction we think is crazy, myself talking to other people. I think they bought it, they know what it is. You guys gave them Sheep Mountain. We lost all the parking, temporary parking up on Kyle Canyon when you get off the freeway because of the developments. And this is going to be the first spot, it's the only commercial spot you guys approved on the master plan. They're going to be buried. Giving up parking's crazy. As far as the S250303 SDR, he just talked about landscaping. I think he should have to put every bit of landscaping in there possible. It's a desert, dirt area where people are going to be parking. That's it.
Thank you very much, sir. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment and turn it back over to the applicant.
Just a couple things I would say in response. One, we're going to be responsible or help coordination with the city on the full improvements of Kyle Canyon and Sheep Mountain Parkway. It is going to look substantially different here in the coming years with those improvements, with Tri-Point being built, and like I said, just showed the streetscape that we're matching along Schaumburg, Sheep Mountain Parkway, and providing the full landscaping and development of Kyle Canyon. We're going to have homes around us. We think it can be a walkable area as well. So we do think that the landscaping and the parking will be consistent with the other approved developments and what you're going to see in 3 or 5 years from now.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll turn it back to the commission. Anybody have any comments? No. Okay, then I will just say thank you so much to you and your client, Mr. Celeste, for all the work on this. This is the second commercial development that has been up for review by the Planning Commission on Kyle Canyon Road, and I think that with all of the residential developments that have been approved, this is just going to be a really welcome opportunity to really create the community that Ward 6 has envisioned for Kyle Canyon Road. I'm very excited that you are bringing a smoke-free tavern so that all of the families that are moving up to Kyle Canyon have a place that they can feel, if they're not comfortable with smoking, that they can bring their kids and themselves. I think that it's a really tough site, and while I appreciate very much the concerns about parking, I think it's going to be a really welcome addition, and hopefully the parking will kind of work with the way that your client has envisioned staggered uses. I really appreciate the work that you've done to coordinate with the residential subdivision adjacent to you. And I think that that it's really creating a great neighborhood and community that can have walkability up there on Kyle Canyon Road. So I just really, again, want to thank you for all the work. Couple questions, and then possibly I need to just, for all of the collaboration that we did in terms of what it was going to look like, what the use would be, we never, and I know you said 36-inch box, which I appreciate, but what we've been talking about in terms of a condition for trees instead of just the 36-inch box was, again, and I think we may have discussed this, the designation of large, fast-growing trees from the Southern Nevada Water Authority list with a 3-inch caliper 6 inches above ground level.
100% we agree to that revised condition or however
Okay.
it should be, but yes, we,
Okay.
100% correct, thank you.
All right, and then can we put in the condition for the added tree, and thank you again for doing that, and then can we put some kind of condition in for the site development plan review to have the planter landscaping at the front side of the building?
Yes, we can agree to, we will absolutely put some type of planter, we just have to make sure ADA compliant. but
Right, understood.
Correct.
Okay, so Ms. Eddowes, I don't know if you want to, do you want to craft things and have Mr. Celeste come back, or do you want to?
Madam Chair, we have, so from what I understand in the discussions, there was going to be an added tree on that 5-foot landscape strip next to Schaumburg. We have that condition. I have a condition we can add for the minimum 3-inch trunk caliper on the 36-inch box trees. I can, and then, I'm sorry, and then the next was a planter box adjacent to the,
We'll go back to the 36-inch box. The language that we've been using, that fast, large-growing trees species with the 3-inch caliper.
okay, we can craft that up.
And then maybe something like inclusion of additional planter-based landscaping not to occlude ADA parking or access.
And if I may add along the south elevation.
On the south elevation, yeah.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I worry about adding that condition because you have to maintain an ADA pathway.
Okay.
Which is 36 inches. So you would then be pushing that out another 3 feet, and I don't know that they're going to have that enough room or space to give up an additional 3 feet and then keep the required drive aisle width.
Okay.
I would hate to make that a condition, because then if they can't make it work, they have to come back and do a review of
Right.
condition. If we can get, I think Mr. Celeste would do his best to try and make it work.
I think he will. I think he will.
It's going to be a first class.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know, it's going to be great. I'm really excited about this project. So, okay, so let's not put that condition in.
Thank you.
Maybe as you start to develop it, we can just.
We'll keep you posted for sure.
Okay, perfect. Maybe you can put some stuff on the patio, like on the edge of the patio. Okay, but so the 36-inch box and the addition of that one last tree, if you can just read those conditions.
Yes, Madam Chair, through you, we would amend condition number 11 of 25-0303-SDR1 to add, the technical landscape plan shall include the following changes from the conceptual landscape plan. A fast-growing tree with the 3-inch caliper base, 36-inch box tree shall be placed at the northwest corner of the subject property within the 5-foot wide landscape buffer adjacent to Schaumburg Road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone have anything else? All right, otherwise then I'm going to make a motion to approve 25-0303 and all of its subpart with the added in conditions, and you agree to those and all existing conditions?
We agreed all the additional revise and exist in all conditions. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post. That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Celeste, for helping to, again, create a great neighborhood up there on Kyle Canyon Road, and appreciate, again, all your collaboration.
We appreciate Ward 6 and working with us, and we really look forward to this development.
Thank you very much.
And that is final action tonight, unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. Item 19, 25-0420, VAR1, variance applicant owner, the Alma Family Trust, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow an existing home addition and residential accessory structures, shed and shade structure, and proposed patio cover that do not conform with Title 19.06 development standards for setbacks, separation, and lot coverage at 305 LaRue Court, Ward 1, Knutson. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented in that the applicant has created a self-imposed hardship by constructing a home addition, shed, and shade structure without permits that do not comply with the current Title 19 setbacks and separation requirements, as well as proposing to construct a patio cover that does not meet Title 19 setback requirements. Therefore, staff recommends denial of the variance request. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Edgar Montalvo, Montalbo, 3606 Calico Brook Court, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89147, on behalf of the client. And pretty much this is a residential project where the clients saw that they were one of these projects, and the clients think that they can do whatever they want just because it's their property. So now they got this notice of violation, and we're trying to make it compliant. So we're trying to make it work in the way that they have it. Pretty much they built an additional bedroom on this corner. They have a patio, and they have this shade structure on the corner. Then they agree that they're going to be removing it because it doesn't add anything to their property right now. It's just covering the pool equipment and this storage on the corner. They did a beautiful work, and they did it to look very, very nice on the house. The thing is that they don't have any permits. So the issue that they have right now is the setbacks. They're not meeting the setbacks on the property, and but they got the approval from all their neighbors, all the 6 neighbors, and I just sent to it. They have a additional letter, so I want to leave it here with you for the case. So pretty much that's what we're looking for. Your approval for the lack of the, thank you very much, of the distance on the setbacks, and we're willing to work with you if any conditions, and of course they're willing to accept it. They're a beautiful couple. It's Anna and Hilda, and they're gonna have they're expecting the twins right now, so they don't want to have any more problems on the house because they're just expecting the baby. So that's why they couldn't be here, because they have a medical appointment tonight. But I'm here to answer any of the questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will turn it back to the commission. Anybody have comments or questions on this item other than Commissioner Rogan? No? Okay, I will pass it to Commissioner Rogan.
Thank you, Chair. Just for the edification of the other members of the commission, I met with Edgar and his clients yesterday evening to take a look at the project. And speaking with them, a lot of these additions, the additions to the home, the shed, were actually constructed by the prior owners, not these folks, which in my mind makes a difference. They did agree to take the detached shade structure down. In addition to it not serving any useful purpose, it's also adjacent to homes that themselves have setback issues that have not been approved by this commission or the city council. And so I think that it would be a fire hazard if one of those caught fire. It would certainly spread to all of the neighboring structures that are just immediately adjacent to that shade structure. So they've kindly agreed to take that down. The additions are aesthetically compatible. The shade structure that is attached is large, but it is aesthetically compatible, and it does provide that shade. I had no problem with it in looking at it. So, Edgar, you agree to take down that shade structure, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you agree to all the other conditions?
Yes, we are.
And Ms. Eddowes, I believe there's some amended conditions due to that agreement to take down the detached shade structure.
Madam Chair, the following conditions are amended to read as follows. Number 7, a variance is hereby denied to allow a 0-foot side yard setback where 3 feet is required, detached shade structure. Number 8, a variance is hereby denied to allow a 0-foot rear yard setback where 3 feet is required, detached shade structure. And number 9, a variance is hereby denied to allow 53% lot coverage where 50% is the maximum allowed. Thank you.
And that's only because the detached shade structure brings you down below 50%.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and since there are no other comments, I'm ready to make a motion with regard to Agenda Item 19, Project 25-0420 VAR1. I move for approval subject to staff's conditions as amended here tonight.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Commissioner Runford? Oh, great. Please post. And that motion carries.
And that is final action tonight unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you very much. Item 21, 25-0473 SUP1 applicant Jerry Doer, owner JLC Nucleus LLC, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 2,400 square foot alcohol on-premise full use with a 3,400 square foot outdoor patio area at 926 West Owens Avenue, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends approval. May I have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, the proposed use can be conducted in a harmonious and compatible manner with the surrounding commercial uses. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested special use permit, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about the project.
My name is Jerry Durr, and the project is Taste of Class Lounge and Venue. It's really for the seniors like my age. I'm 70, so it's for seniors my age to come have someone enjoy themselves without a lot of drama going on. So I just want to say thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Oh, sir, Mr. Durr, come back down. Wait, hang on. Any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. I'm going to pass it back to the commission. Does anybody other than Commissioner Munford have any comments or questions on this item? Okay, great. Seeing none, Commissioner Munford, I will pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. Good seeing you again, Jerry. It's been a while.
How you doing?
I think this will be a good project for the Nucleus Plaza. I know Jerry, he's had businesses in this area before and has done a good job with those businesses. And I'm glad you're making a run at it again.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have no problem with this project, and I'd like to make a motion.
Please do.
Nobody else?
Right, thank you.
All right, I'd like to make a motion for approval on item number 21, 25-0473-SUP1. I'd like to make a motion for approval. You're fine with all the conditions of staff?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Thank you very much. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote. Please post. And that motion carries.
And that will move on to city council on January 21st.
Thank you.
Okay,
Item
thank you.
23, 25, thank you, Mr. Doer.
Thank you.
Item 23, 25-0483 VAR1, applicant owner Guadalupe Genevieva Ramirez, for possible action on a land use entitlement project request to allow an existing residential accessory structure carport that does not conform to Title 19.06 development standards for replacement, separation, and aesthetic compatibility at 86 Page Street, Ward 3, Diaz. Staff recommends denial. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, no evidence of a unique or extraordinary circumstance has been presented in that the applicant has created a self-imposed hardship by constructing a carport without permits that do not comply with current Title 19 setbacks and separation requirements, as well as proposing to construct a patio cover that does not meet Title 19 setback requirements. Therefore, staff recommends denial of the variance request. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ma'am. If you can please state and spell your name for the record, give us your address, and tell us about your project.
Hello, my name is Guadalupe, Guadalupe, and Ramirez, Ramirec. And so, yes, I'm asking for you guys to let me continue having my patio cover. It's just for personal use, and the problem right there in the house is that we get the sunlight directly to our windows. So we asked to have our windows replaced, and it was like more than $5,000. So I couldn't afford it. So then I asked one of the handyman if we could do something, and then This person told me, if it's, you can ask for a variance, but if it's gonna be wood, you have to ask for permit, and then say, but only if it's gonna be wood and if it's attached to your house, and if it has like electricity included or something like that. So, so I say, okay, what about if it's a metal one? Because I see my neighbors, I don't know how you can see, I have pictures right here. In the same street, 4 of my neighbors had the same structure, kind of like it's the same material, which is metal. So I asked one of my neighbors, and they say they have it for years. They did not need a permit, they just did it. So that's why I went ahead with the project. And so, like I said, it's not bothering nobody. It's just for personal use. When it rains, even the water comes inside my property, not outside. So if there is a way that you guys can let me have it, I'll appreciate it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission. Does anybody other than Commissioner Schlottman have any questions or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Schlottman?
Yes, Madam Chair, through you, I appreciate you coming out today and presenting to us. I looked at this and I looked up and down the street. I did see 1 or 2, but houses further down with carports. However, the carports, I traditionally have never supported this because it doesn't meet our code. It protrudes almost all the way out to the front of your front property line. And, and then we look aesthetically, is it compatible with the house? And it's really not compatible with the house. Unfortunately, the person whoever advised you on this advised you incorrectly. And I mean, if it's somebody that you paid, I would suggest going back to the contractors board to get your money back out of that person because they shouldn't be giving you that bad advice. But I can't support it just because front patios, I've seen them 100 times, and I just have never been able to find a way to grant a variance on these front patios. Unless if anybody else has any other comments, I'm ready to make a motion.
Well, I'm thinking if it's your concern is about safety, which of course, being in my house and being used for my children and my grandchildren, I appreciate it, and I'll follow the rules definitely to be in compliance with it. But just by saying, oh, it doesn't come with the other houses. But I don't want to go against, of course, my neighbors or anything, but I find it kind of like unfair just because somebody say, oh, does that person have permit for that? But it's not about safety. Like I say, other neighbors have it too, and definitely I'm not the kind of person that I'm gonna point fingers at my own neighbors,
Right, Madam Chair.
Yes, go.
I'll just address that. And it's not about safety. It's not about having a building permit or not having a building permit. If you would have had a building permit, and went to the building department, you would have found out that this wouldn't have been allowed. You would have come to this board to ask for the variance, and then we would have told you no. We could have saved you all the money and heartache of having to build this. And if the other neighbors come forth, before this board here within the next couple of years, while I'm still on this board, they're going to face the same issue, just as the past, 60 or so people that have come and asked for this variance. In very few cases where there is a huge setback on a property, a residential estate, or something where the house is, 50 feet, 75 feet back from the property line. If a patio enclosure would encroach 3, 4, 5 feet, but the entire patio enclosure is encroaching. So, and if it was about just anything coming into your windows, light or whatever, you could use shades. There's a lot of other reasons, but it's not the worst one that I've ever seen, but there have been some pretty bad ones that have come before this board, and I just can't I can't find myself trying to approve one whenever I've told so many people no. It would be unfair and unjust to every person who's come before us for the past 14 years while I've been up here.
Well, maybe we can make changes, right?
We could, but this is one where where I feel that there's good reason why we don't do this, and I could show you plenty of reasons at some other time why we don't do this, and because there are some really, really bad ones out there. So, but sorry about that, and sorry about somebody misguiding you, but I do have to stick to our city code on this one.
Okay.
Would you like to make a motion?
Thank you.
Yes. Madam Chair, on item number 23, 25-0483 VAR1, move to follow staff's recommendation for denial.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Yea vote is for denial. Please cast your votes. Please post. And that motion carries.
And that is final action unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. Item 24, 25-0499, applicant owner 300 Charleston Apartments QOZB LLC for possible action on the following land use entitlement project request at the southwest corner of Charleston Boulevard and 4th Street, Ward 3 Diaz. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project 24A 25-0499 EOT1 for mixed-use development, 24B 25-0499 EOT2 for proposed 8-story mixed-use development consisting of 501 residential units and 20,313 square feet of commercial space with a waiver of the 70% build-to-line requirement. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, on October 22nd, 2019, the Planning Commission approved a special use permit and site development plan review for entitlements related to an 8-story mixed-use development at the subject site. This is the third request for an extension of time of these entitlements. Due to this being the third request for an extension of time, staff has determined the applicant has not demonstrated the ability to develop the site in a timely manner. Therefore, staff is recommending denial of both extension of time requests. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you please state and spell your name for the record and give us your address and tell us about this project?
Sure. Hi, Laura Drea, 520 South 4th Street. Drea is spelled D-R-E-J-A. I'm here on behalf of the applicant and the current owner. As staff did mention, this technically is the third extension of time of an entitlement established in 2019. However, this current applicant bought the property in August of 2022. This is only the extension of time for this party as they have had the property for a little over 3 years. In that time, the applicant has submitted a minor modification to improve upon the design. The improvements included daylighting a lot more of the amenities and also the units. And then they also switched up the unit count to reduce the studios and add more 1 and 2 bedrooms. These modifications were approved approximately 9 months ago in January of this year. We've only had 9 months to enact that design. But regardless, the master plan aims to attract more residents to the Arts District and to promote residential infill. This project remains perfectly aligned with these goals. We're moving in the right direction, and we're confident that you will see the appropriate progress by this time in 2022 or 2027, excuse me, as per the conditions.
Thank you. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission. Does anybody other than Commissioner Schlottman have any questions or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Schlottman?
Yes, Chairwoman, through you. I look forward to seeing this project being built. Can you remind me how far you've made it on plans on this particular project?
On this particular project, we did develop the structural plans. They haven't been submitted yet. We've also extensively designed the landscaping plan. We hope, if things go to plan, that we'll break ground by January of 2027.
Okay. And we did have a conversation about this particular project, and just to put it on the record, what we did discuss was I want to see progress here within before the 2 years is up. I want to see civil plans, I want to see building plans, I want to see it in the building department, or I want to see it going up in the air. If that significant progress is not made, and 2 years come around and I'm still sitting up here, you're not going to see my support, so don't even ask for an extension of time. Unless if you're just so close where we're just waiting on final signatures on plans. So I would encourage the owners to get after this as quick as they possibly can, because it takes a while, especially with a project of this size, and they're probably going to burn up a year and a half, 2 years working on their plans. So you'll have to really go at this hard. But other than that, we need this housing downtown. We need it in the Arts District. We need to support all the businesses that are down there. So for those reasons, I'll be supporting this matter.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Schlottman, did you want to make your motion?
Yes. And this is on item number 24, 25-0499. Move to approve. That would be on 24A and 24B, subject to staff's conditions, and you agree to all staff's conditions if approved.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your vote and please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
And that is final action unless appealed to the city clerk in 10 days.
Thank you. Item 25, 20-0500, applicant owner LV Medical District Hotel LLC for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests on the southwest corner of Charleston Boulevard and Payhor Drive, Ward 1, Knutson. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project 25A, 25-0500 VAR1 to allow a 0-foot perimeter landscape buffer adjacent to a T3 designated parcel where 15 feet is the minimum required. 25B, 25-0500 VAR2 to allow a building address to be assigned on Charleston Boulevard, where the building address shall be assigned to the primary street from which the major ingress and egress occurs. And 25C, 25-0500 SDR1 for a proposed 5-story, 140-room hotel development with waivers of Title 19.09 form-based code development standards. May we have the staff report, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, the proposed development encourages medical tourism as an economic growth strategy for downtown Las Vegas, which would be supported by the hotel development. However, the associated variances and waivers of Title 19 requirements demonstrate the proposed development's incompatibility with adjacent residential development in the immediate area. As such, staff recommends denial of the requested variances and site development plan review, subject to conditions if approved. Please note, there is a revised staff report and landscape plan in your supplemental packet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen. If you can please state and spell your names for the record, give us your address, and tell us about this project.
Good evening, Madam Chair. For the record, John Curran, 10660 Royal Pine Avenue, here on behalf of the applicant and from the development team.
John Mulkey, JOHN MULKEY. I reside at 8913 Players Club Drive, 89134.
We're pleased to present a site development review with accompanying variances for a 5-story, 140-room hotel in the heart of the medical district. The subject site is an assemblage 1.4 acres on West Charleston between Rancho and Martin Luther King. The hotel is tastefully designed with a little nod to the neighborhood. It did incorporate some mid-century modern thematic elements. You got your breeze blocks and your stone veneer. Wanted to present the site as well. You'll notice the hotel is positioned right along West Charleston to maximize walkability in this core. We also included a 1,300 square foot cafe, and all these things, again, are to advance those goals in the 2045 downtown master plan. The site is in the heart of the medical district. It has been well received by neighbors, including UMC, Valley Hospital, and the Kerkorian School of Medicine. All of them have uniformly said there is a demand for high quality extended stay hotels in the medical district. The site does meet minimum parking requirements per code. However, the development team is quite experienced when it comes to hotel operations and are sensitive to the parking needs of this project. For your information, the team does lease a adjacent parking lot with 50 additional spaces, but to really maximize the guest experience, you want as much on-site parking as you can. So with that in mind, that did necessitate a variance of a landscape buffer here on this southern residential adjacency. 15 feet is required. We're requesting 0 feet. However, I want to point out we did double the density of these trees. In addition to that, we've called out on our landscape plan that these trees are to be 36-inch box tree with a minimum 3-inch caliper. These are willow trees. They're relatively fast growing, big canopy, and should help address that concern about the residential adjacency here. I also wanted to point out the hotel, of course, is all the way tucked along Charleston, so as far as you can get away from that residential adjacency. The other variance we are requesting is for a Charleston address. Of course, that just helps with wayfinding and marketability of the project. But we're really excited. This is a Hilton Home 2 Suites. It'll fly under that brand. Tastefully designed. I think it's going to be a real asset to the burgeoning medical district, and we're excited to get to work on it. The development team has worked closely with staff for many months on this project and wanted to shout out EUD, City Manager, Planning, Public Works, and as always, just been a joy to work with. So with that, we respectfully request your vote for approval. Otherwise, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? If you're going to speak on an item, come on down when the item gets called. Thanks.
Hi, Laura McSwain again for the record, MCSWAIN, also with the Water Fairness Coalition. First of all, I want to apologize to the applicant on item number 17. I saw the 25 and thought because I was late, they clearly had landscaping. To that point, I'm hoping that the document that I provided can be moved to this item and not put on item 17. I did submit an article about urban landscaping. I do like to see that they did upgrade the landscaping here. The only question I have, and I'm anxious to hear your conversation, is about the form-based code. A lot of work went into that, and I don't think I've seen an application yet being used form-based code, so I do worry about precedent. Again, we live up the street, but it looks lovely so far. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard? If anybody else wants to be heard on this item or any other items, please come down when the item gets called so that we can just have people up at the mics.
Hi, Tara Anderson for the record, TERAANDERSON, 1213 Eaton Drive. I completely respect and appreciate as a resident of the area the need for development and infill in this area, but I implore this body to please require conformance to form-based code. This is precedent setting. My biggest concern is the commercial value. We already have very overburdensome land prices, and if we're not conforming to this, we're going to exacerbate that problem. We have an entire commercial core of downtown that is underutilized and underdeveloped, and projects of this nature are better suited there. There's also the heart of the medical district in which form-based code anticipated the density and the use and the like. And so very, very concerned about setting precedent on a recently adopted form-based code that we have yet to proceed with implementing in the city. And just for the record, we have a project asking for a variance, and with all due respect to the commissioner, just 2 applications ago, we didn't award a negligible variance to a resident on an affordability issue in a marketplace where they put a carport on their home, and we're allowing and considering large-scale developments such as this nature not conforming to the standards that the city has adopted. So please take that into consideration before allowing the variance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The applicant want to come back up? And, oh, sorry. Anybody else want to be heard on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close public hearing. I'll bring the applicant back up for any response.
Yeah, I would just point out again, this site is strategically located right across the street from UMC. Patients who often have long-term stays, have families and friends who come to visit, and that proximity is critical to have a sort of high-quality extended stay. Again, we've heard unanimous sort of feedback from those hospitals that this is a really strong demand in the area. I'd point out that A hotel of this size might typically be built on a 2.25 acre type site. This assemblage is 1.4 acres. Again, we do control additional parking on the other side of the street, but the irregular parcel size and trying to get this onto this site just necessitated that variance, and really think we made some pretty good accommodations to try to do the best we could on this.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that, I will pass it back to the commission. Does anyone other than Commissioner Rogan have any comments on this item? Okay, I have just a couple comments, if that's okay, Commissioner Rogan. I just want to say again, thank you, Mr. Kern, and your team for working on the landscape and trying to make sure that we have the best possible opportunities to meet what we just passed last month in terms of trees and urban forestry and trying to promote walkability. I also just want to say anecdotally what an incredibly important project I personally think this is. I had a family member have to have an extended stay in a hospital in another major city, and there was not a hotel nearby. I had to take a cab back and forth, and so I appreciate the thoughtfulness of this project. So I just, again, wanted to say thank you for working with the city and listening to my concerns on, one of the priorities that I really see that we need to be working towards for the city. And with that, I will pass it back to Commissioner Rogan.
Thank you, Chair. Coincidentally, I was going to the same hospital that your family member was and had the same issue where there was no hotel in the vicinity of the hospital. And so had to take a cab, had to go further afield to find a place to stay for a long period of time. And it is difficult when you're undergoing that kind of medical treatment to even have to travel. And so having a hotel like this in the vicinity of a hospital is a major boost to not only the city, but is also particularly to UMC. That being said, I did have concerns with some of the requests that you had brought forward, and we were able to work through some of those. The major concerns I had were twofold. First was the orientation of the entrance to the hotel being on Charleston Boulevard rather than in the rear. You made your best efforts. You brought several designs forward to me. It just wouldn't work. The choice is either having the cafe front Charleston Boulevard or having the hotel front Charleston Boulevard. And I think the cafe makes sense. A cafe in the rear or a smaller cafe really isn't going to work. It would never survive at that location. The second concern was the neighbor to the south with the 0-foot landscape buffer along that residential property. That was a no-go. I would have killed this project for that reason alone. But you came up with a great idea to approximate a landscape buffer by putting in more parking islands with trees, and at my request and Chair's request, having those fast-growing larger trees so that the neighbors to the south is not greatly affected. And I believe you're also working on the lighting as well to make sure that that lighting doesn't spill over to the neighboring residents, which I think is very important as we move forward with these types of form-based code projects along Charleston Boulevard and elsewhere. So you've done everything that I asked of you, and I appreciate that very much. The waivers of the form-based code that have been requested are relatively minor. For example, the main building body is a depth of 105, where 100 feet is the maximum allowed. Those are negligible. I don't think that to the naked eye it's going to be determinable whether a building depth is 105 feet versus 100 feet. And the remainder of these waiver requests are also negligible. A 16-foot corner side yard back where 15 is the maximum allowed. It's the same issue for me. So I didn't really have an issue with those. I have to say, I agree with Ms. McSwain and Ms. Anderson for coming down here. This is precedent setting, and I did talk to you, Mr. Mulkey, when we met, that it's very important that this is done right. Because if we start granting waivers, huge waivers and huge exceptions to the form-based code, everyone's going to expect it. And then the design is going to deteriorate, and we're not going to meet the goals of the form-based code and the goals of transit-oriented development if we start allowing that to happen. But that being said, these are relatively minor, as I said before, and I have no problem with them. With that record made, are there any other questions before we move on?
Was there any amendments to conditions related to the parking lot island trees? Do we have it as 36-inch box as per the plan, or did we, and can you agree to the large, fast-growing trees with the 3-inch caliper at 6 inches above?
We submitted a new landscape plan into the record yesterday, so that does call out the 3-inch caliper, 36-inch box. The species specified are on the SNWA list. They are all, none of them are, they're moderate to fast growers.
Okay, and they're large on there. They're large designated trees.
Yes, the southern adjacency, these are all, the large willows, 36, 3-inch caliper, and that's a big canopy, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kern.
Madam Chair, the updated plans and the staff report is in your supplemental packet that is on your dais up there for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was received after posting, so we have to make it a part of the record during this hearing. So we provided a hard copy for you, for you to review physically.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies for having to ask the question. Thank you for submitting that plan. Okay. Commissioner Rogan, would you like to make your motion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kern. Before I do, you've had a chance to review the conditions in the supplemental packet, and you, on behalf of your client, agree to all of those conditions?
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, with regard to agenda item 25, project 25-0500, subparts A through C, I make a motion for approval subject to those conditions.
Thank you. There is a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. And please post, and that motion carries.
And that is final action unless appealed to the city clerk within 10 days. And for the city clerk, I believe the item that Ms. McSwain referred to that she submitted something was actually out of 20. So if her document could be included from item 20 with this item.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to call items 26 and 27 up together for presentation. We will vote on them separately, but just again for efficiency. So 26 is item 250539, applicant Greystone Nevada LLC, owner State of Nevada, Division of State Lands, for possible action on the following land use entitlement project request at the northeast corner of Washington Avenue and Las Vegas Boulevard, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends approval on the land use entitlement project 26A, 25-0539 DIR1, regarding the adoption of the Grant Sawyer Development Agreement between the City of Las Vegas and Greystone Nevada LLC. 26B, 25-0539 TMP1 for a proposed 290-lot single-family residential subdivision. And then item number 27, which is 25-0540, applicant Greystone Nevada LLC, owner City of Las Vegas, for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests generally bounded by Washington Avenue, Maryland Parkway, Sagman Street, and Las Vegas Boulevard, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. 27A, 25-0540 DIR1, regarding the adoption of the Cashman Development Agreement between the City of Las Vegas and Greystone Nevada LLC. 27B, 25-0540 VAC1, petition to vacate portions of right-of-way Harris Avenue and Maryland Parkway. And 27C, 25-0540 TMP1 for proposed 781-lot single-family detached and attached residential subdivision. May we have the staff reports on 26 and 27, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, for item number 26, the proposed development agreement conforms to the requirements of NRS 278 regarding the content of development agreements. Through the proposed development and design standards, the development will be consistent and compatible with the surrounding area and would provide much-needed housing stock in downtown Las Vegas. Staff therefore recommends approval of the proposed development agreement and tentative map. Please note there is the revised staff report and landscape plan in your supplemental packet, and note an additional letter of protest was submitted after publication. For item number 27, the proposed development agreement also conforms to the requirements of NRS regarding the contents of development agreements. Again, through the proposed development agreement and design standards, the development will be consistent and compatible with the surrounding area and would provide much-needed housing stock in downtown Las Vegas. Additionally, as staff has no objection to the request to vacate city interests in portions of right-of-way on Harris Avenue and Maryland Parkway, staff recommends approval of all requested entitlements with the vacation and tentative map subject to conditions. Please note There is a revised staff report and landscape plan in your supplemental packet, and also note that additional letters of protest were submitted after publication. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you please state and spell your name for the record? Give us your address and tell us about this project.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioner Stephanie Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. Gronauer is Gronauer, here on behalf of the applicant, Lennar Homes. We were here several weeks ago with the associated master plan amendment and zone change for both the Grant Sawyer property as well as the Cashman property. We're excited today to share with you the actual plans for both projects. We have tentative maps for both sites as well as development agreements for both sites. We very much appreciate your staff's recommendation of approval on the entire project and entire application. Your planning department, your public works, your fire, and your city attorney, as you know, are stellar and have been just as stellar on this project as they always are under a bit of a time crunch. So we really appreciate all of their hard work and effort on this. I'm going to start with Grant Sawyer, which is item number 26 on your agenda. This is about 22 acres located on the north side of Washington. It's just east of Las Vegas Boulevard. The state of Nevada is the seller of this property, so if this is approved, Lennar would buy this from the state, demolish the site, and redevelop it with homes in this area, which we're hoping will be a catalyst to a whole lot of great things in the downtown area. The plan that's before you is for 290 homes on this property. There will be a gated entryway off of Washington, you can see here, and I do have a new landscape plan and entry concept that I'll share with you in just a second, but this main entry will be located here. Right as you drive in, you'll have your main amenity area with a pool and tot lot for the residents in here. There'll be a secondary resident entry and exit off of Vision Park Drive here. A lot of open space. The roll curb is in the property as well as guest parking. We exceed the parking requirements, and we have 101 guest parking spots in here for residents. All of these homes, they're colored by product type, but all of them have two-car garages, which is great for any home buyer in here. They're all for sale units. The yellow are the larger detached units that are between 2,500 or 2,055 square feet up to 2,405 square feet, so decent sized homes with two-car garages. The blue are more like detached townhomes. We're in the downtown urban core. This is going to be dense, and the goal is to keep these as attainable as possible from a price point. So those are a little bit smaller. Those are 1,705 to 1,945, but again, all with the two-car garages provided. So excited about that. The development agreement does allow up to the R3 density, which is 24.99 units to the acre. But as I mentioned, this site plan is 290 units. It's about 12 units to the acre, so it's well under that density that would be allowed. But if we were to do anything, we'd have to come back before you, obviously, with a revised tentative map to show any revisions. This is that landscape plan I mentioned, so you can see we've got a lot of ample trees, connectivity. There's a trail along Las Vegas Boulevard. The entry feature, again, it's concept, but it'll look really nice on the eastern edge of that entryway. This is not going to be the name of the community, but again, just to show you a concept for what this master plan community really will look like on the north side of Washington. That is the highlights for Grant Sawyer. It takes me to Cashman. So here's Cashman on the south side of Washington. This is about 55 acres of property. On the south side of Washington, Las Vegas Boulevard is again to the east. You'll see on our map we've set aside about 2.6 acres of land on Las Vegas Boulevard for future commercial development. So it's not a part of our plan, and someone at some point will come through and develop that commercial property. I know there's a huge demand in the downtown area, and especially with all these homes for commercial, so that'll be a nice added area for the commercial. For the site plan, this is our site plan. Again, The main entry will be on Washington with a really beautiful long entryway located here. There will be two other access points on Maryland Parkway along the south, one that's a gated egress and ingress, and one that's just a egress here. As I mentioned, that future commercial will be located here along Las Vegas Boulevard. It needs to be parceled out, so at some point after this, it will be parceled off and sold and developed as commercial. This one has an even more dense cross-section of product. They're designated by color as well. The yellow are those detached homes, all of which are 3-story. The orange, the pink, and the blue are all townhomes with different variations, so it'll look different and live different in here. Most of the homes have 2-car garages. Some of the smaller ones, which are the blue here, have either a single car or tandem. But for the most part, these all have 2-car garages. They're, again, all for sale units. So everyone in this whole neighborhood, it'll be a new neighborhood, will own their property, own the land under their property with either a townhome or a detached single-family home. Again, there's guest parking and roll curbs in this community as well. We have 169 guest parking spaces for 781 units. We have a total of 950 parking spaces total in here. And again, a mix of sizes. They go from as small as 1,300 roughly, or actually, sorry, 1,100 square feet, all the way up to that 2,000 plus in the yellow units. So the goal, again, is to make sure that these homes are attainable for people that want to buy in this area, that live in this area and haven't been able to afford housing or live in this area, for new home buyers. I mean, this really is an exciting new addition to the downtown area, and hopefully, as I mentioned, it'll be a catalyst to change in the overall area. As I mentioned, we have a new site plan that's in your backup that also shows the connectivity. If you've been to Cashman, this is that area where there's a huge drop in elevation, so this is really difficult to develop this area, but there will be connectivity in there with trails. There's also a pool area, cabanas, and tot lot space here for the kids in the community. The units will have some of their own private space as well, open space as well, with balconies or patios, many of them. And then again, this is the concept for the entry. There is an accidental S that has been added to this, so this will not be Cashman's plural, it will be Cashman. But again, this is just in concept so that you can see what it'll look like. It'll look really nice in this downtown area and be a nice new gated community. So with that said, I'm happy to answer any questions you have on either project. We again appreciate staff's recommendation of approval, and we'd ask for yours tonight.
Thank you very much. This item has been noticed for public hearing. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I will close public hearing. I will pass it back to the commission. Does anyone other than Commissioner Munford have? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak, ma'am? I am so sorry. You need to come down. If you're going to speak on items, you need to come down. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry about that. Yeah, please state and spell your name for the record. Give us your address, and we can go ahead and make your comments.
Okay. Well, my name is Ronshita. My last name is Hurt, H-U-R-T. R-A-W-N-S-H-E-T-A. My dad named me. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, November 10th, 1990. Unfortunately, out here in Las Vegas, to be current events, you know, are current, but I've pretty much been on my birthdays in jail out here. I don't know, but it's kind of a tradition for me being from Las Vegas, and I ask them, like, why are you always messing with people from Las Vegas? And, you know, like, I don't know, they just, like, pick on us or something like that. Probably the guys we went to school with are total losers, but yeah. But I was incarcerated for my birthday, and now I'm 35.
Ma'am, did you have comments on this project?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, so we've been around that all of our lives. Fireworks used to be occurred every day, most of the time, all the time. People used to have meetups and like family projects there and car shows. And I had my first performing artist event. So I did music for 25 years now, and I write poetry books and things like that. Saw it published online too. My artist name is Ronnie Brands. Google it, whatever. I have music videos, and I published my own book on Amazon Kindle, and it's up on sale for Walmart and Amazon right now. But being born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, we really don't have any art centers for certain people. Like, it doesn't matter with ethnicity, just public speaking, hearing to support striving artists. So, being born and raised out here for 15 years, I've been, doing my own music production and things like that because I want to do the arts for all the talented, it's millions of talented artists out here.
Okay.
From all
Ma'am, did you
ages.
have any comments on the project specifically?
Cashman Field Center,
In the Cashman Field, I'll give you about 30 more seconds.
No problem. I performed there when I was 21 years old, and my mom she took me there, and that's my biggest fan, and she told me if I was gonna mess up, then she was gonna mess me up. So that was my first music performance there, and I killed it, and I nailed it. And people came up to me, and Snoop Dogg himself, a lot of people was like, keep doing that, and that was 15 years ago. So if the Cashman Center was gonna be something for us, I shouldn't.
Ma'am, are you in support or denial of this project?
In denial,
Okay.
we need more support out here for struggling artists, and one of them buildings is ours.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for coming down and sharing your thoughts with us. We'll call the applicant back up. Just want to give you a chance to respond.
I appreciate the comments. I think she's right. There's so much history on both of these properties, and the goal really is to not take it away, but preserve some of the sentiment of all of the history of this area and, like I said, make it a catalyst into something new and hopefully have more people living downtown that creates more synergy, and the arts district, all the things you've seen that have happened downtown with some of those other districts hopefully will happen here as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, with that, I will pass it back to the commission. Does anybody other than Commissioner Munford have any comments or questions on that? Commissioner DeSalvio?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I totally dig the idea of doing what you guys are doing to that area because, it's well needed. Like you said, affordable housing or obtainable housing is definitely, will hopefully uplift that area. The only thing that kind of throws me off is I would have liked to have seen a little bit more open space, like a park area, just because I feel that that area is missing that park element, especially now that Cashman Field will be going away. I just think that would have been a great ambiance to that development. But other than that, it's definitely needed, and I definitely support it.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm just going to echo that it is a project that I think is going to be good for the area. It does make me a little maudlin because I spent so much time doing state policy work in Grant Sawyer, but I think that the area really needs this kind of a boost. And I appreciate your willingness to put in rolled curbs. I appreciate your willingness to put in some more landscaping. And so thank you for the work, and thank you for bringing for purchase products to the urban core so that people have that opportunity. Commissioner Munford.
Excuse me. To you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. This would be a great project. A lot of these new developments, they don't have enough guest parking. I think both of these sites will have nice guest parking. Also, I like the idea for that area that this property will be gated. Is it going to be electronic gating, or is it going to be with security, or
It'll be electronic gating.
Electronic
yes.
gating, okay. And then, I like the density. I like the, for the catchment center, that the density is going to be a little higher, but instead of condo units, you're going with townhomes and single family. And I've stated this before, that the commercial space that's on the west end, I'd really like to see, hopefully we could get some kind of grocery store or something for that area. It's kind of a food desert as it is right now. And with all those people coming in, we talked about it, that it's quite a ways to go grocery shopping, especially for all the people in there. So hopefully we, might be able to find a commercial developer that has a relationship with a major anchor grocery store, or even one of the smaller grocery stores operations that have been popping up in the city lately. But with that, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, please do, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion for approval for item number 26 and 27. 26, 25-0539.
Oh, Commissioner, sorry, I'm being requested to have you make the motion separately. So do
Okay.
item 26 and then do item 27. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Item 26, 25-0539, 26A, 26B, would like to make a motion for approval per all conditions. You're fine with the conditions?
Yes, sir.
There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you very much.
And for item 27, I'd like to make a motion. 25-0540, 27A, 27B, and 27C. Make a motion for approval.
Subject to conditions?
I'm sorry, subject to conditions, and we're fine with conditions on that.
Yes, sir.
There's a motion on the floor. Please cast your votes. Please post. And that motion carries.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great night.
And both of those, 26 and 27, will move on to City Council on January 21st.
Thank you. And then our final item tonight, citizens' participation. Citizens' participation is public comment during this portion of the agenda, and it must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. No subject matter may be acted upon by the Planning Commission unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of any single time, and the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Are there any members of the public wishing to be heard for citizens' participation? Ma'am, if you want to speak, you got to come down. Or you want to be heard again? Okay, great. Then I'm going to close citizens' participation. I'm going to say I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of the best to everyone's families and friends. And I'm going to call this motion adjourned, or meeting adjourned.